This is VOA News via remote. I'm Marissa Melton. The U.S. Supreme Court is hearing arguments Monday whether the United States government can invoke a protection of state secrets defense to withhold information about its surveillance of Muslims at mosques in California. The dispute began a decade ago when three Muslim men filed suit against the Federal Bureau of Investigation, alleging the top U.S. law enforcement agency deployed a confidential informant who claimed to be a convert to Islam to spy on them based solely on their religious identity. The U.S. Constitution guarantees freedom of the practice of one's religion. But the government is claiming in this case that it can refuse to disclose information about its surveillance under authority granted to it by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, as well as its use of the state secrets privilege defense. That defense allows the government to block the release of information that it considers to be a risk to national security. Palestinians on Sunday criticized Israel for rejecting the promised reopening of the U.S. consulate in Jerusalem. It's a move that would restore Washington's main mission for the Palestinians in the contested city. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said late Saturday there was no room in Jerusalem for another American mission. The Trump administration closed the U.S. consulate for Palestinians in Jerusalem, an office that for years served as a de facto embassy. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has pledged to reopen the consulate. Israel says that move would challenge its sovereignty over the city. Proponents of the move say the reopening could help mend U.S. ties with the Palestinians. From Washington, this is VOA News. The Iraqi government says Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi has survived an assassination attempt and is unharmed. The government said in a statement released Sunday that an explosives-laden drone tried to hit al-Kadhimi's home in Baghdad's heavily fortified Green Zone area. Residents of the Iraqi capital heard an explosion followed by gunfire from the direction of the Green Zone, which houses foreign embassies and government offices. The attack marks a major escalation amid tensions sparked by the refusal of Iran-backed militias to accept last month's parliamentary election results. Iraqi officials say 7 of al-Kadhimi's security guards were injured in the attack. Sudanese pro-democracy groups launched 2 days of civil disobedience and strikes on Sunday in protest at last month's military coup, though participation appeared to be limited by continuing interruptions to internet and phone connections. Local so-called resistance committees and a group known as the Sudanese Professionals Association, or SPA, are organizing a campaign of protests to try to reverse the military takeover. The SPA led demonstrations in the uprising that toppled then-President Omar al-Bashir in April 2019. Internet services have been badly disrupted since the October 25th coup, and phone coverage remains patchy. Tens of thousands of Ethiopians rallied in Addis Ababa on Sunday in support of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government as federal troops fight forces who are threatening to march on the city. Some demonstrators denounced the U.S. government, which is among the foreign powers that have called for a ceasefire as a year-long war that has killed thousands of people intensified amid advances last weekend. The United States, the United Nations Security Council, the African Union, Kenya, and Uganda have all called in recent days for a ceasefire. Abiy's government has pledged to keep fighting. On Friday, the government said it had a responsibility to secure the country and urged its international partners to stand with Ethiopia's democracy. The conflict has killed thousands of people, forced more than 2 million from their homes, and left 400,000 people in Tigray facing famine, this according to the United Nations. High wind off the Florida coast has prompted SpaceX to delay the return of 4 space station astronauts that were supposed to have headed home today. They were supposed to leave the International Space Station Sunday, the capsule splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico Monday morning, but the departure has now been bumped to Monday afternoon with a nighttime return. Marissa Melton, VOA News.